Okay, just wanted to make a quick little video on my Suzuki Katana G6F 600. So if any of y'all are having an issue with, let's say your clutch is slipping, right? You give it gas and it just doesn't go anywhere. Or you give it gas and then it starts to brr, 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 and not go anywhere, you know? But if you give it barely enough gas, it'll go, right? Well, I had this problem and I thought, well, duh, I'll change out my friction plates. And turns out my friction plates were fine. And so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just put new ones in anyways. So I did. And it came with harder springs and these type of carbon ceramic friction plates. The ones I got are made by EBC. They're a really reputable brand. And so I did that, and then all of a sudden it's still doing the same thing. Now it's engaging worse. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Why are you engaging 10 times worse than you were before? And so like, okay, that's weird. Let me figure this out. Well, my stupid self, did this. Sure, I installed them correctly on that side. But what I didn't do is this little adjustment screw right here. Camera would focus. This adjustment screw right here, I had it turned all the way in. And when you have it turned all the way in, the clutch plates are pushed out. So they were pushed out far enough that when I let go of my clutch handle, that it wouldn't engage. And so I went to the bike shop and they said, yeah man, just put it to where it's further in, or put it all the way in, which I had it already all the way in, and they said do a half turn out and then tighten down on this nut. So I did, and it works now. I mean, I can feel it engaging, and it's disengaged, and then it engages, and the bike moved like a champ. Quick little tip on how to fix this without driving around. Take your hand and stick it in these holes right here. So I have my hand in here and I cannot move this thing at all. I'm putting a lot of force into it and it won't move. However, when I'm holding the clutch in, shit, hang on. However, if I'm holding the clutch in, while doing that, holding it in, I can move it with my hand, like this. See? But when I let go, oh, can't move the thing. Also, I don't know why, but if this happens to y'all, if you're curious, my friction plates, my old ones are over here. And at first, I thought, hey, well, I went to a shop. They said you might have an extra one, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'll count. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have 8 of these. They said, well, you might have 2 extra plates. Friction plates were fine. They said I had 2 extra plates. Well, I looked on Partzilla at my clutch diagram, and they were like, I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. There's supposed to be this amount of friction plates and this amount. I counted them and I said, wait, I have 2 less steel plates. And I was like, something ain't right here. And when I originally looked at the way my clutch was originally assembled, it had a steel all the way back here to the furthest one that you cannot take out. There's a steel, and then of course the rest is you can take out, but it goes steel, steel, and then friction steel, friction steel, friction steel, friction steel, all the way up until you get to the pressure plate, which is also a steel on steel contact. That's how it was, and I was like, okay, well, let me just put that back all together. And of course, whenever I adjusted that screw over there, like I was talking about earlier, it connected and it all worked perfectly. And I was like, wow, that fixed everything. So yeah, if you need a little help and you don't know if your clutch is slipping or not, grab these little holes and try to turn it by hand. If you can turn it by hand, it's slipping. If you can't, it's good. And if it's still slipping while it's tight like this, you might have another problem that I wouldn't know of. Yeah, and so the other thing that I'm having trouble with, this Venturi hose on 3 and 4 currently, the diaphragms, when they go up and down, there's these little cups in here. Somehow I'm getting a leak on, I think, this one, but not this one. But when I spray in here with carb cleaner, if I spray like right here, it'll suck it in and then I'll get a leak, and it'll cause, and my bike's revving up high. So that's the only other issue I'm having right now. But other than that, the bike runs great. Oh man.